Hi there, this is Dana Green Remedios and another Wednesday wellness tip on a well experience with Keisha Dixon. I am Dana Green Remedios from Green Remedies, and Green Remedies is my nutrition consultation practice where I meet people and help them to achieve greater levels of health and happiness. I like to work on whole body, whole lifestyle approaches that really make people feel 10 times better and enjoy their life with a lot more energy and a lot more ease. So making things easy and effortless is my favorite thing to do. Today, what I'm going to talk to you about is the effect that a food's color has on the effects that that food will have in your body. So join me and let's talk about eating the rainbow and the phytonutrients in foods. So some of you have seen videos of mine before. Green Remedies, in addition to Green and Remedios being my last names, Green Remedies is really a passion project of mine because I love to get people getting the majority of the carbohydrates in their diet from the green end of the spectrum, from vegetables and fruits. And fruits are one of the easiest things for most people to consume and digest without a lot of hassle. Of course, they're not perfect for everybody, but vegetables are also one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet that you can eat. Organ meat is another really nutrient-dense food group, but not everybody likes to eat organ meat. But everybody should like to eat vegetables, so we need to eat quite a few servings of vegetables every day. In fact, if you think you know how many servings of fruits and vegetables you need to eat every day, I would love to see your comments down below, and I will tell you the secret number at the end. Of course, there are different opinions out there, so just play along and take a guess and put it in the comments, and we'll discuss all the different possible right answers at the end. So I've got a bunch of notes here. I'm going to talk a little bit about my passion for functional nutrition, which comes from functional medicine. It's really where nutrition and functional medicine meet, is functional nutrition. What I love about it is that it emphasizes healthful eating that's personalized for genetics, lifestyle, environmental factors in your life, and your health needs or your health concerns. So that's what I love. I love that it's biochemically individualized for the people that I talk to. So we've already talked about how you're going to need a different amount of vitamin D depending what latitude you live in, or a different amount of carbohydrate, a different amount of fatty acids depending on where your ancestors came from and what latitude they were at and what the climate was like where they were. Definitely your shopping schedules, your ability to shop depending on your geographic location. That's going to be like a huge modern influence on what you can eat as well. So it's not all just what's in nature, but also what's in your lifestyle and what's available to you. So knowing how to cook and store foods and knowing like how much space you have is totally going to be taken into account as well with functional nutrition. I have a really small freezer, so I'm not going to make and freeze things for a month ahead, for example. So if you're in that position, you might feel the same way. But in my case, I do like to do some food preservation techniques. I just made fruit roll-ups for my family, and I like to do some canning, so there are things that I can do. When you work with a functional nutritional practitioner, they'll probably help you find a plan that's right for you. But one of the core foundational rules is to incorporate a lot of phytonutrients. And how we do that, how we introduce and continue to have a lot of phytonutrient-rich foods, is we look at color. So color is a real shorthand for learning about what your food can do for you. I mean, we know changing our eating behaviors isn't easy all the time. And even if you're well informed about what to do, trying to implement it can sometimes be tricky. So, until something's a habit, we need things that can make it easier for us. So, not making your changes too harsh, that can really help. Not too much restriction, that can really help. Adding things in, that's a technique that can really help. So, add things in, add color, and find shorthand for ways to remember what you're trying to do. So those are a few tips. And what's one way that you can remember? You'd look at the color and eat fresh, eat color, eat texture too. And, if we want to take from Michael Pollan, the author of the book, In Defense of Food. He is the one that's famous for saying, eat real food, not too much, mostly plants. So with that in mind, let's learn about some of these nutrition rules when it comes to functional nutrition and knowing about how to eat for ourselves in a way that's really going to help us stay healthy and vibrant. So speaking of vibrant, we got colors. So today, in honor of Green Remedies, in honor of the color green, I'm wearing my bright green sweater. Green is one of the best food colors for us because the benefits of green can be anti-cancer. They can also be anti-inflammatory, which inflammation is one of the things we're always trying to beat. They also help us with our brain health. So green foods can be cell protective, protect our cells. They can be good for the health of our skin. They can also help us balance our hormones, take care of our hearts, and take care of our livers. So those are some of the best reasons for consuming more green foods. And when we say green foods, we mean everything from actual greens like broccoli, bok choy, or that kind of thing, to green apples, green tea. So artichokes are great because they're bitter, actually. So are things like a broccolini or sometimes, there's turnip, there's a kale and other greens that can sometimes be bitter, like arugula. So consuming those is really good for our liver. And in Chinese medicine, the liver area is always referred to, it's always green, like that's the color that's associated with it. And so green is, we say green with envy. They say that, envy is situated in, and having gall, right, is known as a saying because it's where you get your oomph and your crazy drive. I don't know, your ability to jump in and do something, bravery, and a lot of that comes from that part of our body, like our solar plexus, right? Is where we picture these things coming from. So having healthy bile production, bile is produced by the liver, by the way, and held in our gallbladders. Having lots of greens in our diet, and especially bitter greens, is really helpful for that. But you can eat, even if you don't like really bitter green foods, you can eat peas, you can eat okra. There's lots of pears, there's a lot of green foods that aren't bitter, and you can pick some of the sour ones like green apples as well, and they are also good for stimulating these types of parts of your body. To jump around the rainbow a little bit, the opposite side of the color wheel from green is, of course, red. So red and green are opposites, but some of their benefits are the same. Red is also potentially anti-cancer. It can be also anti-inflammatory and protect your cells. But it also has benefits for gastrointestinal health, so the rest of your digestive tract. Your heart health, so that's easy to remember because we always associate our hearts and the color red. Hormones as well, and liver health. And so some of the ones that are good for our heart that we know, you may be familiar with it. Tomato, right? The lycopene in tomato is really well known. Rooibos tea, that's a caffeine-free tea that's got lots of antioxidants. Pomegranate we know is really good for hearts. You might have seen the heart-shaped pomegranate juice in the market, so you can try that one. It's really, really yummy. Other ones that are good for us, grapes. I mean, we know that wine, that's the ultimate excuse for drinking wine, is that it's good for your heart. And especially a glass of red wine combined with some omega-3 fatty acids, they make a really good pairing for your heart, believe it or not. That's really complementary. And that's one of the neat things about plants and plant phytochemicals. They're really prone to working together synergistically to give us added benefits. So highly recommend eating different foods together and a variety of different foods. So other red foods are beets, which are good for our hearts and for the rest of our body systems as well. Our urinary tract can really benefit from cranberries. Cherries can help us to get a better night's sleep, especially the sour Montmorency cherries. Those are really good for getting good night's sleep. Even red onions can be really anti-inflammatory, and the quercetin in red onions can help us to deal with allergies. So if you have any allergies, eat lots of red onions. The deeper and darker, the brighter and bolder, the fresher the color, the better it is for you. So next down from red is orange. So there are a lot of orange foods that are very pleasant to eat as well. We've got, orange bell peppers, cantaloupe, and apricots. A lot of the sweet ones like mango and nectarine and papaya. And then a lot of the squashes. So pumpkin is, of course, one that really comes to mind, but also buttercup, sweet potatoes, and also spices. Turmeric, either turmeric or turmeric, depending on how you like to say it, is one, and so are yams. So all these ones have persimmons, oranges, of course, and carrots. So including any of those in your diet will provide potentially a reduced mortality. So of course we will all die. We are mortal, but what it means is that just a reduced risk of dying in your age group for people that consume more of these orange fruits and vegetables. They have a better chance of living, so continuing to live a longer life. So your reproductive health is also greatly influenced by orange foods, and skin health is a big one. It's a great source of vitamin A, so that's really good for your skin. Immune health, so keeping you from catching everything and just keeping everything on an even keel. So when we said anti-inflammatory and good against allergies, that's actually an effective balancing the immune system, not having it be too overactive, but actually just working just right, the way that it should be. So cell protection, antibacterial, anti-cancer are also benefits, but some of those first ones are the more unique ones for the color orange. Next, in between green and orange is yellow. So yellow, there aren't as many naturally yellow foods as there are green ones or red ones, but they have some interesting effects for our cognition, so our ability to think, which is huge. 80% of people surveyed said that they would be interested in or wish they had a supplement to help them to just think faster, better, more clearly, remember things more. So we all, I guess, a lot of us wish for a boost for our cognition. So if that's something you're interested in, we're thinking about millet in the grains, or lemon in the fruits. Also succotash, which is a really an oldie but a goodie. Like, it was really a classic food, and if you're a vegetarian, that's probably something that you're used to eating. Summer squash and corn, including corn on the cob, and other types of corn count, and bananas and Asian pears if you have yellow apples, but also in the spices again, turmeric, ginger root, pineapple, starfruit. Starfruit's not a spice or an herb, but there's a lot of spices like curry and others that fall into the yellow category. So you can definitely try those out as well. And if we jump to the other side of the color wheel from yellow, then we're in purple. But purple gets paired, when it comes to phytochemicals in plants, purple gets paired up with blue and with black. So when we eat these color foods, we are, again, protecting ourselves against cancer, adding anti-inflammatory benefit to our bodies. And again, cognitive health, heart health, and liver health. So these are all really important things. Antioxidants are usually found more in deeper, darker purple foods than in their lighter or more bland-looking counterparts. So one example is rice. If you go to a fancy sushi place and they offer you black rice, get the black rice. It's better than the white rice. It's better even than the brown rice. So black or purple rice has more antioxidants than regular rice. It's a little bit different in the glycemic index too, but in terms of antioxidant properties, much better. So raisins and prunes and plums and olives and even some types of kale, you might see purple kale. Those are all in the purple category. There's, of course, blueberries and eggplant and blackberries and huckleberries, purple cabbage, figs. There are some carrots and cauliflowers that are grown purple. If you've seen them in probably Whole Foods for extra money and you get really tempted to serve them at Thanksgiving because they look cool. So yeah, you can get those. And there are purple bell peppers. Sometimes you can see kind of creamy yellow ones that are not the bright yellow ones that are Hungarian peppers, and sometimes you see purple bell peppers too. So if you catch those, they count as well. Sometimes you can see purple potatoes, purple skinned potatoes, so those count, and grapes, of course, purple grapes. So those are all the foods in the purple, blue, black category. Of course, also in the olives, you can get like purpley olives, like Kalamata ones that are sometimes purple. You can also get black. So all of those count. And then the final category in terms of our food colors is the tan, white, brown category, which sometimes gets overlooked or considered unhealthy. But you actually want a variety of foods that you want to pick something from all these different categories and get a really wide variety. Eat the rainbow does also mean your white, tan, and brown foods. Some of the healthiest ones in this category are mushrooms. There's also a lot of sprouted foods here, but seeds, nuts, they fall into this category. Some sort of pale veggies or fruits like cauliflower and jicama, which have some good benefits. Apple sauces, bean dips, cocoa, coconut, coffee, dates. Garlic and ginger can also fall into this category. Ginger we already mentioned under yellow, but it can also fall in this area. And some onions, a lot of pears, sauerkrauts, tahinis, soy products often fall here. So, and of course, grains. So these ones can be antimicrobial. They can protect your cells. They can be good for your gastrointestinal health, anti-cancer, heart health, hormone health, and liver health again. So what are we talking about here anyway? All these colors that are in plants. Why do we want to look for plants that have a lot of color? Really what it's about is that when you're looking for, if you're following like a functional medicine kind of approach, you're trying to optimize the benefit that you get from food. And we mean that in terms of like the energy benefit that you get from them, that the connection that you get, the benefit of connection when you eat food and you connect with others, that's a benefit too. There's a medicinal potentially benefit from food, where it can give actual like medicinal qualities to your body. And then there's also information. Food is also information. So the molecules in food, and depending what they're made of, will send different messages to your body, give different information to your body. And that's something that we don't want to overlook. Like food is medicine is often repeated. phrase, and that's true, but food's more than medicine. It's also connection with our friends and family. We need to enjoy it. We really have to have that pleasure principle. I just saw Janet Jackson in concert yesterday, and she's amazing. She's gorgeous. She's incredible. She's super inspiring, and not to get too much off on a sidetrack, but yeah, pleasure principle. So the principle of pleasure. When we're talking about life, we can't avoid talking about the fact that it's about love. It's about all these important things, and we have to enjoy life. Enjoying your food and having it, support you, whether that be culturally or whatever. It's got to be more than just a functional thing. Even though we're talking about functional medicine, food has got many functions, and it's not just we don't want to make food as medicine such a driver that we lose the joy of eating. So when we're talking about phytonutrients in foods, I mean phytochemicals. Phytonutrients are basically just plant chemicals, substances that offer a benefit to us. That's all it really is. And they have all these different types of benefits that they can give us. And when you eat a rainbow, hopefully you're going to get the most benefit possible. So here we are, kind of getting near to the end of today's talk. I've told you about all the different color groups that there are when we talk about eating the rainbow. I've told you about what the benefits are of eating each of those color groups. And I've shared with you some examples of foods that you can find those color groups in. And so when it comes to knowing your phytonutrient sources, you're going to have to get used to this. Like, you might not be able to turn to this video all the time, but you can usually see them. Like, that's the great thing. And experimenting with different varieties, different colors, and knowing why it might be more than just like a novelty, but why you might want to do that. That's really all you need to start with. Like, you can use the visual cue. And even if you don't remember what color helps what potential body part or system, it doesn't matter. If you're eating a wide variety on a regular basis, you're going to get the benefits. And they are potentially synergistic. They can work together for greater benefit. So one way that you can make sure that you do this is vary your choices, like of your recipes. Like, try not to just get in the rut of always making the same things. Or if you have a favorite recipe, change up what you're using in the recipe. So even the tomatoes in a recipe with tomatoes can be yellow tomatoes instead of red tomatoes for a while. Or they could be, again, you can try different colors of peppers or green beans. It can be swapped out for another vegetable in a recipe a lot of the time. That's also a kind of a neutral. So try that, And when it comes to meals, like if you can't get a whole rainbow of color in one meal, then try having a yellow theme meal, a red theme meal, a blue theme meal. I always try and incorporate at least 5 colors into every meal if I can, and that is something that's drawing on a lot of the Chinese medicine or even Ayurvedic medicine practices, where you balance with color and you balance with flavor. And it's a great thing that makes meals taste better and look better and be more appealing, which is a really great way to get you to eat more vegetables. So scientists have found that when you pair several different fruits together on a plate, the people eat more fruit. Or when you put many different veggies out on a plate at a party or something, people eat more veggies. Having all the different colors next to each other, it triggers our brains. It's exciting, it's visual, and we want to eat more fruits and veggies. So we all do want to eat more fruits and veggies, and we're still trying to guess how many fruits and veggies we want to eat every day. So if you have a guess, put it down in the comments. How many fruits and veggies do you think that we should be eating every day? I'd love to hear what you think. And how many fruits or veggies do you actually eat every day? How many servings? If you have a certain amount that you tend to eat every day, I'd love to hear from you. So most of us do need to eat more fruits and vegetables every day. I'll tell you that. That's no secret. I think most of us know that. That's why greens powders and purples powders and reds powders, like supplement powders, are super popular. So yeah, I mean, one way to eat more of the foods that are not commonly eaten, that are more nutrient dense, is to replace those in for other foods. So you might have noticed that people have replaced a lot of like rice eating with cauliflower eating. They're eating cauliflower rice. I like to eat a varied diet with a wide variety of foods. Some people are getting back in the habit of enjoying organ meats. Like I was saying, those are also very nutrient dense, and it's not for everyone. And if you're a vegetarian, it won't work for you. But if you are willing to try those as a nutrient dense food, sometimes you can take some ground meat and put half vegetable in that burger. You know, you can use zucchini, and then you can use like a quarter organ meat, like something in there, and it really boosts up the nutrients of that burger. So if that's something you're willing to try because you're trying to heal up and get more nutrients in, that's one way to do it. But even just swapping out mashed purple potatoes or mashed sweet potatoes instead of mashed potatoes, you've already improved the nutrients and the phytochemicals in your meal. So that's something you can do. And again, with like the rice, substituting the different colors of rice, adding more fruits and vegetables together. So if you can find a way to just add more, like I know in the morning when I have oatmeal, like if I add some nuts, some seeds, some fruit, a little drizzle of pomegranate syrup, something like, then all of a sudden it's like, bam, I've got a lot more fruit in my day, or I've got a lot more phytochemicals in my day. And trying not to eat the same thing every single day. Like I could eat blueberries every day because I absolutely love them in a smoothie. But instead of blueberries, sometimes I'll mix it up. And so I try and get a whole bunch of different kinds of foods, and not even always do a smoothie. Like sometimes I might make, waffles, or I might have eggs. So, yeah, that could be great. Raspberries one day, peaches another day, and then trying to have fruit as dessert, that's a great way to get more fruit into your day. Fun fact, so kids who eat more fruits and vegetables every day actually score higher on tests for intelligence tests, but basically like how well they're able to respond to questions. They're just more perky. They're able to think on their feet a bit better. So maximize your combinations too. So if you put black pepper and turmeric and olive oil together in the same dish, which is of course this is what happens in India, right? This is what happens in curry. This isn't just like a good idea, but it's wisdom, because this is actually enhancing the nutrient absorption. So the black pepper has this interesting chemical that enhances the absorption of the turmeric, and is also better absorbed in the presence of oil. So this is a genius tactic for getting more phytonutrients more curcumin out of your spices. Likewise, you can add lemon juice to spinach to get more of the iron out of the spinach. That's really good. Plant-based forms of iron do need extra vitamin C. So, that's a great combination as well. So, I am getting to the end of my video. Thanks for joining me here. I'm Dana from Green Remedies, talking about all the different phytonutrients in our plant foods. And how many do you think that we should eat every day? Well, Health Canada and actually the different groups in the United States tend to be very similar in terms of their recommendations. And their recommendations do tend to be 5 and 8 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. But functional medical practitioners, so functional medicine, actually recommends that we get between 9 and 13 servings of fruits and vegetables per day of plant foods every day. So 9 to 13 servings of whole plant foods will help you to prevent chronic disease. And you don't have to freak out too much, because a typical serving is not as big as you might think. That's part of it. So a typical serving is about half a cup of cooked vegetables, or a cup of raw leafy vegetables, a medium-sized piece of fruit, not a mammoth-sized piece of fruit. So it's really actually doable. If you're already eating Buddha bowls, then this is a great way to get, you know, some grains, some soy-based, some greens, some pseudo grains, and then over here you're gonna have some orange vegetables, some purple vegetables, something you know, black. So it's really easy way to maximize your plant-based proteins and your phytonutrient dense plant foods. Buddha bowls, awesome, love it. Even the sauce on top can be like protein rich and made like from ground black sesame or something fantastic, and with a lot of color in it. So yeah, that's a great option. And I will give more ideas for recipes and ways to get these foods into your diet in the future. So I mean, you can really, it's really quite limitless. Any plant foods, herbs and spices, nuts and seeds, grains, legumes, all of this works. Get creative with your substitutions, maximize your combinations, vary your choices, eat the rainbow, and aim for your 9 to 13 servings. So that's basically it. I mean, I hope that you are somebody who loves cooking. Even if you're not, you can get a lot of these in, even if you just fit in one smoothie per day. Maybe you make a mean, green, lean super sauce. I have a recipe for that, which is a great way to get a lot of greens into your day. You'll actually fall in love with the sauce, and you put it on everything. So that's one trick. I hope that you enjoyed my video. It is very late, so I maybe sound and look a little bit sleepy, but I hope that you stayed with me whatever time it is when you are watching this, and I hope that this gave you some kind of nugget of information today, or something that you can use. Are you surprised that you might need to eat up to 13 servings of fruits and veggies per day? How many have you been eating? I tend to fall anywhere in the 7 to 9 range, to be totally honest. I'm not in the 9 to 13 range most days. It depends. So it is tricky for me unless I use a green powder or something to boost it up. So let me know, how about you, and how do you do it if you're eating 13 servings of fruits and vegetables per day? Let me know how you do it. And have a great week, and I'll see you next Wednesday with more Wellness Wednesday tips and tricks for staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. Bye.